Hey there, retail tech enthusiasts. Welcome to the Rising Stars podcast, your go-to source for all things retail technology and the ever-evolving world of point of sale. I'm your host, Kate Orara, Partner Development Manager at Star Micronics, and I am thrilled to be your guide on this exciting journey. Here at Rising Stars, we're not just keeping up with the trends, we're setting them. We dive deep into the tech landscape with global industry leaders, unpacking strategies and discussing the latest innovations that shape the future of retail IT. Whether you're a tech aficionado, a business owner, or just curious about the dynamic world of retail, this podcast is your backstage pass to insider knowledge. And hey, it's not just about the tech, it's about the community. Join me and the Star Micronics team as we lead and innovate, shaping a brighter future for the retail, hospitality, and cannabis industries, as well as beyond. Together, we rise. So hit that subscribe button, stay in the loop, and let's make waves in the retail tech space. This is the Rising Stars podcast, where innovation meets inspiration. Let's rise together. Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Rising Stars podcast. I'm really excited about today's guest, Brett Bennett from Positive Technology. I met him. I've known him for a while, but we got to have some great conversations in Puerto Rico at the RSPA Inspire conference earlier in January, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again soon in Vegas for Retail Now.
Yes.
So that's going to be, Puerto Rico, Vegas. Some cool locations, some fun places. How are you doing today, Brett?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm excited.
No, I'm happy to have you on here. So if you could, I would love for you to tell our listeners a little bit about Positive Technology, your role and experience in the retail IT channel industry, and just any other little tidbits that we might need to know about you.
Perfect. Well, Positive Technology, we're a hybrid VAR ISV. So we do both the reseller side as well as develop software. And that developing of software happened kind of 15 years ago when we saw, kind of where the market was going and decided to do our own thing. We focus on several vertical markets within retail. We very much focus in the retail market. And some of those include professional and collegiate sports and entertainment venues, nursery and garden, hardware and paint, and specialty retail in general, we kind of focus on. And we develop a suite of software solutions called OpSuite. That's our brand, OpSuite. Our customer base spans across the North America, as well as many of the countries in Europe and Latin America. I have been the president and co-founder since 1999 when the company was founded. My partner and I founded it originally in Maryland, and then I quickly moved to Arizona, where I am now here in Scottsdale. And actually, most of our development and tech base is here in Arizona, where much of our sales team is around the country, from New York, Maryland, the West Coast. So we have quite a span there. My background, I've been in the retail IT channel going back to 1989 when I was 2 years old. Now, I was actually 21 at the time. So I am getting on the older side of the channel, I guess. But that was a joint venture between Apple Computer and Levi Strauss. And we developed a software solution on the Mac. So again, picture 1989. This is a while ago. And that solution was used at the Apple Computer headquarters, as well as throughout the United States in retail stores that Levi Strauss was primarily the largest product at. So yeah, I've got a lot of history, and between that and now, it is all history. So much has happened.
I'm going to say that's a lot of evolution, and I mean Levi Strauss in particular. I know that they've evolved just their technology platform. I must say I'm a Levi girl myself. Like I've when you find a pair of jeans that fit, you kind of
Oh
stick
yeah,
to that
stick
brand.
with them.
And I will say, Leva, give props to them. They've done it. So I know that they're like their e-commerce, their app, like everything, it's probably stemmed off of something that you were a part of. So that's got to be, you got to feel like some sort of ownership to that.
I would try to, but it's the evolution across retail has, since 1989. My goodness, I mean, we were probably one of the only ones that was actually, GUI based rather than text based. So it was pushing the envelope, and I love being part of it.
That's awesome. Well, in addition to your experience and being the president and co-founder of Positive Technology, and obviously I didn't know that about you with the with Apple and Levi Strauss. That's really cool. You are also the chairman of the board for the Retail Solution Providers Association, correct?
Yes, correct. Thank you. Yeah.
So,
um,
that's important.
It's great to. I love the RSPA, and we'll get into that a little bit. But what a great organization, and the opportunity for me to give back for all that they have given is tremendous. So I'm proud to be associated with the RSPA.
Well, because we may have some new listeners, especially we have channel listeners, we have a kind of a whole mixed bag. Perhaps, I mean, I could do this, but I'd rather, come from the chairman of the board. Could you maybe give a brief explanation of what the Retail Solution Providers Association, or RSPA, is, and a little bit more about what your role entails as the chairman?
Sure, happy to. So, if you're not familiar, the RSPA is the largest community of VARs, software developers, vendors, and distributors in the retail, restaurant, grocery, and cannabis verticals in North America. There are over 750 or approaching 750 member companies, and they're large and small, right? Large companies like Google, Intel, HP, Star are member companies. We have over 160 software providers, 450 VARs and MSPs, resellers. So it's a very wide base of membership uh, to choose from. Personally, I've been a member of the association for over 20 years. That's how important it's been for me and our organization. I've participated over the years in committees and the various communities that the RSPA offers. I've been a member of the board of directors, and I'm humbled to have accepted the position of board chair. Um, and that position is basically a 3-year position. You're an incoming chair or a chair elect, the board chair, and this is the year that I'm a board chair, and then there's a year as the outgoing chair. So I'll be involved in that chair position for another year. And as chair, I lead the board of directors and the executive committee, along with various others, including Jim Roddy, the CEO and president of the RSPA, who is an absolute stellar individual who I hope that everyone gets to meet. And I'm also a member of several different communities. And as I said, I love the RSPA. It's been such a tremendous asset for us over the years. We've been members for over 20 years and have received so much from education and knowledge and access to so many members and developers and software, hardware vendors and so forth, that it's been tremendous. So I'm happy to give back.
That's awesome. And I'm really excited to see you now as the board chair, just kind of watching how it evolves. And we've had some really great conversations. Side note, I'm actually running for the board for one of the positions.
Yes.
So y'all listeners that are members of the RSPA, vote for me August 7th. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of see how that develops with you, because and that's kind of where I want to go as well, is maybe to talk a little bit more about what is it that the RSPA brings as far as value to its members, and what are maybe, in your opinion, the top 3 reasons why a company who is not a member should sign up?
Yeah, that's good. When I first joined the RSPA, it was really around the idea that I needed to go to the annual conference, which is called Retail Now. And so, kind of somewhat naively, I thought that the value of the RSPA was 100% around that conference. Happens once a year. This year it's in Vegas at the end of July. So, something you want to definitely sign up for if you can. Um, Retail Now has been a great asset, and it's definitely top three for me. But what I learned over the years is that the real value of the RSPA is the diverse range of members and member companies that I have access to through the association. As an example, just in the past month, I have received from the RSPA staff multiple personalized one-to-one introductions to other member companies that complement or kind of extend my service and solutions. So, that opportunity to meet or to have them warm introduce member companies throughout kind of this channel is tremendous, right? I may not have met them otherwise. I get to meet them one on one. I learn more about them. So that's huge. In addition to that, the RSPA does something called the ISV's Spill the Tea, which is tremendous. In fact, there was one just this morning where multiple vendors and other service providers get to have 30 seconds or a minute to show their wares, to tell us members about what they have to offer. We can ask questions, we can get answers, and again, this is a way that I'm expanding my business by seeing what others have. And then in addition to that, there's communities, right? Communities that I can join and be part of, interact with other members. We do video conferences. I think those are quarterly for the various different committees. And the committees are wide, right? Everything from next gen, so all those coming into the channel, to, specific ISV or, so forth communities. So cannabis communities, things like that. Really, really tremendous. And then I would just kind of finish with, as a member, I also get access to legal counsel, education tools, cybersecurity advice, and the list just goes on. So many assets that it brings to the business, far above just Retail Now and the other events that we do. So I would invite anyone out there in the channel to investigate the RSPI. I think it's a huge asset.
I think I love everything that you mentioned there because I couldn't agree more. I think that when my first Retail Now that I ever attended, I think was in 2012 because it was the first time I'd ever been to Vegas. And I just walked the trade show. We just were like, my
Yeah.
boss at the time, we were like, oh, let's just see if it's, this is worth us exhibiting. And at the time, that's what we thought. We thought RSPA, Retail Now, and that's what we called it for years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we just call it Retail Now RSPA, and it's like, no, it's not
Same.
RSPA. It's Retail Now is the show that's hosted by RSPA.
That's right.
But then now, I will say as of, the past couple of years, I've really started to get more involved with the RSPA, and it really has made a difference. I mean, even the legal counsel, that alone is huge. I think that is a massive benefit because we all know how legal fees can work.
Oh, absolutely. And now granted, if you need to go further, then you have the opportunity to engage and so forth and pay for the services. But to be able to go in and get prepared documents that are already ready to go for our industry, forms, and then just advice. What direction should I go? How should I position this? It's tremendous. It's and I think more members should take advantage of that as well.
Absolutely. So, as the RSPA board chair, what is your vision for the future of the organization?
So that's a good question. And as board chair, I get to be part of the executive committee. I get to meet with the president and CEO, Jim Roddy, every week, and we talk about direction. We talk about goals. We talk about everything that's going on, and we talk about a lot of different things. Our industry, it continues to evolve. Um, and I've been in the industry since 1989, so I know a little bit about where it's been and where it's going. And look at what we're seeing right now: generative and predictive AI, machine learning, um, unattended ordering and checkout, robotics. I was just at a conference where we saw all kinds of new robotics type options, not just for the back end, but for the front end, for retail. And it's impressive. So I would argue that our industry is evolving faster now than it ever has. It's accelerating. So it makes it an exciting time. And I believe that the RSPA is positioned itself perfectly, right? We're at the forefront of all these advancements. How am I learning about all of these things, generative AI, machine learning? So I'm learning from them, from members of the RSPA.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to do to continue to grow? We're going to continue to grow to the membership in these diverse areas, making sure that we bring in those industry leaders, innovators, and consider who those industry leaders and innovators are, because the next generation of channel members, who are just coming up, and I'm talking, I'm probably in the older side of this, but we have younger generation coming in that they have a great handle on where things are going from a technology standpoint. And as we apply that knowledge to the industry, that just makes us stronger and stronger. So really our first and foremost goal is to expand our membership, continue to expand our membership into those areas, including what I would consider next gen. We recognize that in order to grow, it requires diverse talent, and that is what the next gen, I think, brings to us.
So you're already kind of segue into one of my next questions, which is about a lot of these younger professionals. And I think I'm kind of I'm no longer the younger one. Yes, I'm now starting to become a veteran because I've been in the industry since 2005. So going on 20 years.
Nice.
I'm seeing a lot more younger professionals attending channel events like Retail Now and the Inspire Executive Conference. So why should these younger professionals be excited about the future of the channel? What should motivate them to join RSPA and to be excited about where the channel is going?
Yeah. So great question as well. And I think that as if I put myself in the shoes of a young, entrepreneur, well, I wouldn't even say entrepreneur, somebody coming into the channel who is just really, focused on the future, you could be a little skeptical or a little concerned about where things are going, especially with as fast as technology is moving. But I honestly believe that the channel is stronger than ever. Um, and what I'm seeing is that is due to the younger professionals who are catching the vision, and getting involved in the channel at a much deeper level. Um, what this does is, of course, it keeps us relevant. It keeps the channel relevant and up to date. Just an example, my little nephews, when I have a brother who is 17 years younger than me, so I have really little nephews right now. And even compared to my kids who are now in their upper 20s and young 30 or lower 30s, these kids are taking technology and they are not afraid of anything, right? They're consuming it so quickly and learning it so quickly that they then can apply it throughout their schooling years and into their working years much faster than any of us could back in the day. So I think that makes us a lot stronger. It puts us in a lot better position, in our part of the channel, you know, talking about retail, hospitality, and so forth. It is fairly narrow. It's kind of a fairly narrow section of the channel, if you consider the channel as a whole. But we touch on so many cool areas of business, and there's so many influences in our area, all the way down to the consumer. So we start, in the supply chain, all the way to the front end, and then back all the way to the consumer. And so I think it makes it super exciting. And since I've been in the channel since the late 80s, 1989, I can say that I am more excited now than I've ever been about the channel. So it's strong, and I would be confident if I was just coming in at a young age.
I think the saying "it is what you make of it" is the key, especially for these younger professionals. I mean, for me, like I didn't even know what the heck the channel was. It took me about a year to kind of to figure it out and to be like, well, I don't understand reseller, but it goes through a distributor. But then, what's an end user? And what's
Right?
funny now is, I my kids are, well, they're older now, but I remember when they were younger, I'm like, oh, they're like, what do you do, mommy? I'm like, oh, you see that thing on the counter? My company makes that. And it's, they're like, oh, so you come and visit this person often. And you go to Starbucks often. I'm like, no, no, I mean, I come here often enough, but so, but
Yes.
it's funny to point those things out. And again, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier, like there's some sort of involvement that you have with Levi and Mac and Apple. And it's kind of what you see. You go to a store and you see some like, hey, I helped with that. I helped with that solution. I helped with
Yeah.
I help the consumer get their order in a quickly, timely fashion. I help the store employee to run the transaction efficiently. I made sure that they had an appropriate scanner in the back, so it all comes together, and it's
It does.
we're kind of geeking out here, I guess, a little bit, but it's like
I love to geek out. One of my developer employees, he was saying just the other day, so he's involved in developing some of our front end, the point of
Mhm.
sale side, and our customer base spans a very wide range, but one of our key customer bases is the professional sports side. And he went to a professional sports game and went in and bought a shirt or whatever and stood at the counter, and he's like, that's me. I built that right there. I built that software. And he's just like super proud and excited about it.
Yeah.
And that's me anytime I go in somewhere and I'm like, hey, I know that. It's just fun.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And now you and I, we're I guess we're kind of the older generation professionals. I guess you could classify us.
I'm much older than you.
Well, you started when you were two in 1990, in 1989.
That's true.
I started when
That's
I was
true.
5 in 2005. Um,
Nice.
there we go. So what can we do? What can some of the older generation professionals do to help with the growth of the channel, especially in relation to the RSPA organization?
Yeah, so that's good. So, I've been in the channel for 30 plus years. We'll just leave it at that. And I honestly believe, and I've said this already, that now is the time. And I would also add that RSPA is the place, right? Just to throw it in there. And I truly believe that. I believe the RSPA is, and other organizations like it. So we'll say that. Though RSPA is definitely by far the most valuable and influential that I have been involved in. Um, so just thinking about that, our responsibility as getting older generation, I'm not older yet, but getting older generation is that I think we have a responsibility to bring into the channel those individuals who will continue to push the envelope, recognize where things are going, pick those things that are taking the industry and the channel in the right direction, and bring them in and mentor them and give them opportunities by taking them to channel events like Retail Now and Inspire. We haven't even talked much about Inspire, but Retail Now being the convention and expo that we do in the summer, but Inspire is an event in January, late January, where it's really focused on the executive teams, and getting together and really talking amongst one another and meeting each other and learning from each other. That event to me is now priceless. I get so much out of that event. You mentioned Puerto Rico. That's where we, spent a lot of time together, and it was because we had that opportunity, and it was amazing. So as we give those individuals that opportunity and let them grow in the industry, we also need to let go of the reins a little bit, let them take the reins in their respective areas of focus, and use that excitement and energy and enthusiasm, fresh ideas to stimulate growth, not only in our own business, but in the industry. It benefits all of us by doing that.
Absolutely. No, I think getting us finding those disruptors in the industry, the ones that are making the noise and bringing and saying, okay, look, and being open-minded, I think too. I think everybody
Yeah.
this is how the saying I hate the most is, well, how we've always done it, or this is how we've always done it. I'm like,
Right.
it's you can't do that now, especially like
No.
it's this industry is accelerating so quickly. Like, it was already like moving quickly, but man, it's just what we did 2 years ago is almost obsolete now.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're right.
it's insane.
You're right. Yeah. And when I think about just those things we talked about earlier, machine learning, AI, all of these different areas. Wow. Right. I mean, we not only have the responsibility to test them out and push the envelope and take them forward, but we also have the responsibility to make sure that they're safe and secure, and that that what we're doing and what we're offering to our customer base is taking them down the right road. So yeah, our responsibility is big.
Well, I kind of want to, I'm going to, this kind of segues into another question that I really want to make sure that we touch on as well. And I
Sure.
think it's important. It kind of actually segues off of that one, talking about the experienced, we'll say experienced professionals.
Thank you.
The
That makes me feel
experience,
better.
that's probably a better word to say it. It's
I
old,
love it.
old. Um, what are some key tools that you think are most important for the rising professionals and the future leaders of the channel?
Yeah, key tools. So, um, obviously I'm biased, but and I look back on my career and what has helped me along the way, and sincerely, the best tool that I had as a rising young professional, and I think applies now even more than ever, um, is to get involved in the broader channel by getting by joining and participating, and participating is big in associations like the RSPA. These communities, and especially the RSPA, provide tremendous learning resources. They provide exposure to such a diverse range of partners and vendors, and they give us a wide range of opportunity to meet other professionals in the channel, to serve on communities, to serve in different ways outside of our own organization, to lead, learn additional leadership responsibilities, um, and to get involved in real discussions and panels, and all these things grow their channel footprint, right? Their exposure to the channel. So I really do believe that is the area and the tool that I would give people the most. I have I have gained more connections through the RSPA and associations like it than anywhere else. You just can't get it. Maybe college, right? College is one place to do it as well. But if you're really focused on the channel in the industry, getting involved, and as I said, participating, because a lot of people get involved and they go to the event and they whatever, and that's great. You learn a lot, but if you actually participate, get on a community, join a panel, offer to be a speaker, and run for the board, right? Those are things that really matter and elevate a rising young professional in their career.
Yeah, I think the getting involved in the communities aspect and just the networking and getting to really to build those relationships, it really helps. It helped me to learn other aspects of it. I remember when I first started dealing with ISVs,
Mhm.
about that 9 years ago, I was like, "What?" I was like, "I don't understand."
Yeah.
Like, it's a software, okay, whatever. But and the thing is people I like to ask a lot of questions, and the thing is I just want to understand so I can help, and I think that that's just my maybe it's my generation, like we're the helping generation, we want to make a
Mm.
difference. And it's like, well, let me understand this completely so I can support you and be there for you. And I think
Yes.
that being open-minded and learning and networking and getting involved, um, learning the hearing about the challenges too. Nothing's all rosy and unicorns and butterflies. There's a lot of
Yes.
challenges. I mean, and it's not just technology related. I mean, there's economic challenges. I mean, there was a supply shortage, a chip shortage,
Yes.
and the thing is, you learn how to weather those storms by your community and networking and the
Yeah.
tools that you said that are available to people, especially through organizations like the RSPA.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think we've all gone through this whole event of COVID and so forth, which no one ever expected something like that to happen. But now you look back and you see over the years. So the RSPA has been around for 70 years, 75 years,
Hmm.
right? What knowledge has come along with that? Now, obviously, some of it doesn't necessarily apply that's so far back, but that knowledge does come forward. And by being involved, you're ahead of the game. You already know, oh, there's somebody in the organization that knows how to handle this situation, and you have access to it. So it's tremendous.
Awesome. Well, I guess one more question that I have for you, and then I know that you're a very busy person, but I appreciate all your time today. But what are some ways that maybe kind of your experience and what you've noticed? How are some ways that vendors, ISVs, and resellers can help prove their value to end users, and in what way can they really help their customers understand how they can support the end user business?
That's a great question, and big. That is so huge, and maybe a question that's hard to answer properly. If you don't mind, I'm gonna tell a little story from my long past when I was in high school. So when I was in high school, I worked for a ski and sports store in Salt Lake City. I grew up in north of Salt Lake City. So I was a skier. I was involved in a lot of skiing things, both in school and just, every week I would go skiing. But I worked at this ski and sports store. And as a young salesperson, of course, my first thought when a customer would come in would be just ask, can I help you? And of course, the answer is no, because that's what people do is they say no. And then they walk around and then leave the store. Well, fortunately, I was working for an organization that was family owned, and they were very focused on teaching the younger generation on what, how to sell, what to do. And I remember very distinctly one time they did a role play where two of them got up and one was customer, one was the salesperson. The customer would walk in the door, the sales rep the mock sales rep would say, instead of, "Can I help you?" would say, "Hey, the snow's great this year. What's your favorite type of skiing? You look like a mogul guy." And the customer's like, "Oh yeah, I love moguls. So, but my skis are trashed and they're way too long or whatever." And the sales rep's like, "Dude, I get you, man. Are you also a backcountry skier?" Customer's like, "Oh, a little, but I mostly stick to the black diamonds and the moguls." "Sweet, you got to check out this ski by Rosignol. It's perfect for you." So what I learned, and I've tried to take with me throughout my career, is that our customer respects our time and our effort to find out what they really need, right? What kind of issue are they trying to resolve? What are they trying to improve? What in their business is causing them angst? And then we honestly try to solve that problem with our solutions. And if it's not, if we what we have is not the right solution, we need to be honest and open with them that, you know what, I don't have the right solution, but here is somebody that does.
Mhm.
Because what that does is it builds our channel, it helps us. And if I'm passing something off onto somebody else, I'm going to get that reciprocally at some point as well. So I think that we need to respect our customer more, all the way from our manufacturers of hardware, all the way down to the resellers reselling software, reselling hardware, and so forth. We need to give the time and effort to really understand what each customer needs and then honestly answer it the best we can. Our relationships will grow that way. We'll just be better organizations across the board and build the channel as we do it.
That's a great story. It's funny. I kind of knew the direction you were going because you did like a close-ended question, right? Where it's like a yes or a no. Whereas
Right.
the role is it's getting to know, like get to know your customer, get to like really know your customer and then and I think you hit the nail on the head too. It's like if you can't support them, if you can't give them what they need, either point them in the right direction, or is it something that your company can develop? Like if you're an ISV, is
Right.
it, hey, do you have developers that can do this? Are you a hardware vendor? Can you customize a current solution? Is that possible? Does it work
Yeah.
with the customer's budget? All of that fun stuff. So, um,
That's a great point.
yeah.
And you know what? We just can't be in a position where we're like, our secret sauce solves every problem, because it doesn't, right? Our secret sauce doesn't solve every problem, but it does solve your problem and this problem. And maybe somebody else's secret sauce solves this problem, and we can help them get there.
Absolutely. Well, Brett, I really appreciate your time today. I don't know if there's any other things that you think that maybe any other nuggets that you would want to throw out there if you think we covered everything. I think it was really enjoyed talking with you today. And I think, we hopefully our listeners have some good nuggets. But is there any other little nuggets you want them to leave this or to start end this episode with?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. If I don't know if you have the option, but we could also put some links to a bit of information if they're interested in knowing more about the RSPA,
Oh, absolutely.
or whatever. So just let me know, and I can shoot you over a couple of documents to connect.
Absolutely. No, I think if you have some of those documents, send them over to me. We'll put those in the show notes. Everybody on here, if you have any questions about the RSPA, joining it, you could either reach out to myself, you can reach out to Brett. Either one of us can help you get in the right direction. I know I've sent, several people over to Ashley Nagy, who's in charge of memberships over at RSPA. And she's like, golly, Kate, you're like a salesperson for RSPA.
I love it.
Hey, I'm trying. I'm trying. I tell everybody, especially when I talk to ISVs all the time. Like, I want to get more involved with the channel with resellers. What do I do? And I was like, well, you really should first of all sign up for the RSPA. It's always like the first thing that I talk about. So that would be very much appreciated, Brett.
Absolutely, and thank you for that. That's awesome. I love it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a great one.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Rising Stars podcast. A huge thanks to our incredible listeners for tuning in and to our phenomenal guests for sharing their insights. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, leave us a review. Let us know what you want to hear more about. Give us your feedback because it fuels our journey to bring you the best in retail technology. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. As we sign off, remember the future of retail technology is in our hands, and together, we're shaping it. Keep innovating, keep rising, and until next time, this is Kate Orara signing off. Together, we rise.